Now let's do a more interesting validation. In our screen, we can see that the user can input a ship VM to select a shipper. And we can put 1 here and it will show Speedy Express, and 2 will show United Package, and 3 will show Federal Shipping. But what if we'll do 87? That value doesn't exist in the other table, and we don't want to allow our users to input information that doesn't exist in that table. Now, if you remember from previous classes, this is from our table, and we get this value using a relation. So what we actually want to understand is whether or not the relation was successful. How do we do that? First, let's look at the debug experience. Let's look at how we view it in Visual Studio. If I'm over here and I'm going to press Shift F12, we're going to break into Visual Studio. We're going to switch into Visual Studio, and we can watch at our watch window and ask our code all sorts of interesting questions. I can ask it what is the where, and we can see that its ship city is London or Madrid, and I can look at the relations. And here I see that I have one relation to the shippers table, relation of type find. The condition is where shipper ID is equal to 1 and the row found was true. Perfect. Let's continue running the code. And F5, and now we'll change the code to 87 and press Shift F12. And we can see now that the condition is shipper ID is equal to 87, but the row found is equal to false. Great, so we can use this to see whether or not the relation was successful, whether or not the row exists in the shippers tables, and validate according to it. So let's do that. So on the saving row, we're going to say if relations to shippers dot, and we have all of the properties that we've seen in debug, so we can choose dot row found. So that tells us if the row was found. We want to say not. So as we've explained before, exclamation point means no. So if the relation to shipper row found not, or not row found in relations to shipper, then show an error. Please enter a valid shipper. Let's run this. Here we are. And if we'll update this to 2, it will be okay. But if we'll update it to 87 and try to leave the row, we'll get the please enter a valid shipper. And if we switch it back, everything is okay. So to validate if a row exists in a relation, all we needed to do is say if relations shippers row found or not that row was found, then method show error, please enter valid shipper.